Is Delta 8 dangerous? Well, there's a lot of information coming out about synthetic Delta 8 being dangerous. So we don't want to confuse natural Delta 8 and synthetic Delta 8. Natural Delta 8 comes from the cannabis plant, it comes from marijuana. It's basically very similar to Delta 9, also called THC. Basically, they're isomers. There's just a difference in where the double bond might be. So Delta 8, when it comes from the plant, is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's one of the 104, 5, 6, 110 cannabinoids they've discovered so far. One of the things that Delta 8 doesn't do, it doesn't have a strong binding affinity to the receptors. This is why when you either eat or smoke Delta 8 compared to Delta 9, it doesn't have a strong psychotropic or psychoactive effect. It's much milder and doesn't last that long. Now, let's look at this from a scientific or objective standpoint. If you are making, or if somebody is making Delta 8 in a lab, you have to make sure that any side reactions or additional chemical reactions that occur in the process are not found in the final product. That's sort of an obvious thing. Now, for instance, you can convert THC to CBD and you can convert CBD to THC. It's not a very difficult chemical reaction to do. You just have to make sure that the reagents or the chemicals that you're using to do this are not left in the final product. And then you also have to make sure that there are no additional compounds that are created, again, in the final component. Same thing when making Delta 8, whether it's a gummy or a vape cartridge. You can't have any residual chemicals that are possibly created when you're doing the conversion. So what do? The hard part is finding out whether the Delta 8 that you're eating or smoking is safe. You can contact the company that you bought it from and say, hey, do you guys have a lab report? That's sort of questionable because for a guy who deals with lab reports all day, every day, trying to get an accurate lab report is very difficult. You have to rely on the company that's selling you the product, and you have to be able to decipher the lab report. If it doesn't come with 6 or 7 pages and it doesn't list cannabinoids, possibly terpenes, residual solvents, pesticides, heavy metals, mycotoxins, microbial, filth, and maybe a few other things, then it's not really a good lab report. If it's cobbled together from 2 or 3 different lab reports, it's not a good lab report. If it's a lab report that's got different dates on it and they send it to you, it's not a good lab report. So again, let's make things clear. Delta 8 in and of itself, when it comes from the plant, is fine. There's no problems with it. There's no difference than CBD or Delta 9 that comes from the plant. But when anything is synthesized in a lab, including pharmaceuticals from Big Pharma, like Zantac was being made by pharmaceutical company, and it had a carcinogen in it as an ingredient. It wasn't even a byproduct or something that was converted. It was a main ingredient in Zantac. They had to pull it from the shelves about 2 years ago, and now it's back. So when it's made in a lab, you got to know what you're doing so you don't have any residual chemicals, and again, you don't have any residual reactants in the product.